Welcome, everyone. We're diving right into a conversation about how taking care of ourselves really boosts our relationships with others. It's fascinating how nurturing self-care can empower us to be better partners, right? Even though it might seem a bit
Yep,
counterintuitive at first.
definitely. It's like the classic idea that you can't pour from an empty cup. How do you see self-care intertwining with, say, keeping a strong bond with your partner?
Right, it's all about balance. Our discussion really hits on the idea that balancing personal space and togetherness is critical. When you have that personal time, it kind of boosts how much you appreciate the time spent together. It's like a little reset button.
I totally get it. And it's interesting because while taking that time for oneself is amazing, the article suggests too much isolation can actually be harmful too, right?
Exactly. See, too much distance or creating um, barriers out of insecurity can actually hurt both partners. It's not about like throwing your partner away. Instead, it's about ensuring that your alone time is about recharging rather than building walls.
Right. Yeah, it's a subtle distinction. It's like, do we take space for personal growth or do we retreat out of fear? And that's when issues can really grow down the line.
Absolutely. The hefty message here is that relationships thrive on a kind of healthy interdependence, not too clingy and not too distant. It's that mix of personal autonomy while still leaning on each other for support.
Yo. So, would you say that the key to this interdependence is all about building trust?
Yes, trust is the foundation. One of the neat parts of the article is the practical advice on how to build that trust. For instance, supporting each other's alone time. If one partner says, "I'm stressed and need a walk," rather than feeling abandoned, you support that need. It's like saying, "Go take that time. I'll handle things here."
That's a really thoughtful approach. But I wonder, do you think it might also risk becoming an excuse for avoidance in some cases?
That's an excellent point. I mean, if used carelessly, it could be a shield against conflict, rather than a genuine self-care tactic. However, the article stresses that this alone time should be balanced with genuine engagement. So it's not about running away, it's more like stepping back, then coming together
Right.
refreshed.
Makes sense. And I noticed they even debunk the myth that one person should meet all of a partner's needs. It's a realistic reminder that no single person can be everything for someone else.
Absolutely, it's a humble reminder. It's like saying, hey, we're all human, and expecting your partner to complete your every need is a recipe for disappointment. Instead, rely on a wider community. Like, our support circles aren't just extras, they're
Yeah.
essential.
I really appreciate that point because it pushes us to see relationships as part of a broader social fabric, not just a duo in isolation.
Yes, exactly. And the part about how unhappy couples tend to get isolated from friends and family truly caught my attention. It's almost like isolation creates a feedback loop of negativity, where a lack of external perspective makes relationship problems feel even more crushing.
On the flip side, happy couples, often called masters of relationships, seem to have rich networks of friends and family backing them up. It reinforces that community support really strengthens the relationship bond.
Right on. And it's that interdependency, healthy dependence on a community, that leads to a more secure sense of shared trust. But here's where it gets interesting. The article also offers tangible advice on how to build that trust with small, everyday actions.
Like taking turns with personal time or coordinating social plans, correct? I loved the example where you say yes to a couple's activity, even if it's not your top priority. It's a small gesture, but packs a lot of trust building power.
Right, it's these micro commitments that add up. For example, one scenario was a partner wanting to join an online relationship webinar. The suggestion was to say yes and even possibly coordinate help for other tasks. It's about reinforcing support rather than feeling
Yeah.
forced or obligated.
Something I've always found interesting about this advice is that it avoids the trap of setting unrealistic expectations. It doesn't say, your partner must always be there for you, but rather, your partner should be supported even when you take time for yourself. That's a key, subtle difference. Subtle.
Exactly, and it's that subtlety that prevents us from feeling guilty for indulging in necessary self-care. I mean, think about it. If you truly are your best self, when you honor your own needs, you're more ready to connect authentically with your partner.
Right. Sometimes, though, I wonder if we're perhaps oversimplifying things. I mean, while self-care is vital, don't cultural and individual differences also play a significant role in how these dynamics are managed?
That's a solid critique. I agree. That the advice might sound too generalized. Different couples have varied needs, and what constitutes alone time for one might feel, I don't know, neglectful for another. It all comes back to open dialogue and adapting these guidelines to your specific situation.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's not a one-size-fits-all prescription, but rather a framework that couples can modify as needed.
Exactly, and the emphasis on honest communication is key. When both partners share their needs and limits, it becomes easier to create an environment where both individuality and closeness flourish. It's, like crafting a symphony where every note matters.
I love that analogy. Each instrument playing its part, yet meshing together beautifully. Switching gears a bit, what do you think about the way the article integrates practical relationship tools like the Gottman Relationship Advisor and the Relationship Coach programs?
Oh, that's an interesting point. It's like these tools are extensions of the same philosophy, providing structured support enough to bridge that gap between theory and everyday practice. The advisor, for instance, uses research-based methods to analyze key areas of a relationship and offers tailored advice.
Yo, that seems really valuable, especially in a world where couples might feel overwhelmed by conflicting advice from, endless online sources.
Exactly. And then there's the Art and Science of Love Atelier, which combines virtual workshops with hands-on demonstrations. It's like getting a live master class on relationship health right in your living room.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there's something compelling about the idea of approaching relationship challenges with well-researched strategies rather than only gut feelings.
Totally. It underscores the importance of grounding relationship advice in scientific research. The Gottman method, as presented, isn't just about romanticizing love, but about establishing habits that genuinely nurture trust and intimacy.
Right. And considering that love often gets lost in the haze of day-to-day stress, having these tools to re-anchor the relationship seems crucial. Though I wonder, do all couples really benefit from such structured guidance?
That's a great question. Not every couple might be ready to engage in these more formalized methods, but even small mindful practices, like acknowledging personal space or making a habit of supportive gestures, can have a big impact. It's about choosing the parts that work best for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's refreshing to see a message that emphasizes both self-care and mutual care. Often we think one has to come at the expense of the other, but here they're presented as complementary rather than contradictory.
Exactly. When you invest in yourself, you're better positioned to invest in your relationship. It's a bit like maintaining your car. You wouldn't run it into the ground and then blame it for not getting you anywhere, would you?
Yo, haha, that's a perfect analogy. It's all interconnected. And I'm sure many couples will benefit from recognizing that vulnerability and self-respect go hand in hand with, togetherness.
For sure. And the core takeaway remains. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. It enriches your relationship by ensuring you bring your whole self, ready to engage, learn, and love.
Right? It's like every little act of self-care builds up a reservoir of goodwill and energy that over time strengthens the bond between partners. Pretty inspiring stuff.
Absolutely. So, whether you choose to dive into the Gottman Relationship Advisor program, experiment with small acts of support in your daily routines, or simply reflect on the balance between your personal time and togetherness, it's all about fostering that solid, interdependent trust.
Well said. It's been a compelling discussion that really ties together the threads of taking care of oneself and caring for one another. Thanks for walking through these insights.
Thanks. And here's to all of us finding that sweet spot between independence and interdependence in our relationships. Till next time, keep nurturing and balancing, folks.
Yep.